Yes, hello guys. Good evening. Yes, good evening. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you, Solomon. Yes, Happy New Year. So, welcome back again to our sessions. So, basically, today I wanted us to have an introductory session on our AI engineering. Now it's an intermediate series. So, basically, for this series, we will mainly focus on building. So we are going to move from basics to building real world AI application or AI products. We also want to be part of people that are using AI to help business people and several other opportunities that are available for in terms of artificial intelligence. So basically today, if you actually check the outline I shared with you, we'll be modifying it as we progress, but I wanted it to be very, very simple. But we are going to cover a lot, and mainly it will be mainly focused on a lot of hands-on practicals. I'm also aware that there are those students who have not completed their beginner series projects, or probably there are those areas that maybe wasn't that clear during our beginner series. So today I wanted us to have an introduction. Then basically starting from tomorrow, which should be now, we'll be starting from 7:15, we are going to do a very quick recap of what we did on beginner series. So we're going to take tomorrow to cover what we did on beginner series so that now from Monday, we now dive into the intermediate series topics. So just as usual, if you have any question, feel free to put it on the chat. Then we will be addressing it as we progress. So our AI engineering intermediate series, we are going to advance a little bit on Python. So remember, so we are going to recap on Python fundamentals. We did the introductory part of programming where we were talking about variables, data types. I was even opening this link so that we see what we did. So on our introductory parts, we did the introduction to Python, something we're going now to recap again tomorrow. Maybe you've forgotten, or there are those things here, maybe they're not that clear. So we talked about variables. We talked about operators, so operations like addition, you can do subtraction, you can do modulars. Then from there, we also did flow control. Remember, we were talking about decision making and looping statements, okay? Where we were talking about the if statements. For looping, we talked about the for loops, the while loops, and these keywords that are used to control looping. Then from there, we also mentioned, very importantly, the various types of data that you can work with in Python. So remember, you're talking about numbers, strings, booleans, lists, tuples, sets, dictionaries. So those were the various types of data that you can interact in Python. I think we talked about functions and modules. I would say that with functions, sorry, give me a second. Yes, sorry for that one. So I was talking about functions. So we did functions where we said that with a function, you are able to break down your code into smaller, manageable components, like whereby each component can do a specific task. So we are going to recap that one tomorrow. So for those, maybe there are those concepts that were not clear, make sure you join the session tomorrow so that now we have a very good recap So now from Monday, we now officially introduced the Python intermediate, not Python, but AI engineering intermediate session. So for this intermediate session, this was basically Python fundamentals. But now with the intermediate series, if you check the outline, we are going to do an advancement of this Python, where we are going to cover aspects like object-oriented programming. So we're going to discuss what are classes, new inheritance. Yes, sorry. So I was talking about the advancement modules in Python. So we're going to cover object-oriented programming, very, very important. Then from there, we're also going to talk about decorators. We're going to see decorators. So I'm sure if you look at more advanced codes or programs, most of the time you meet this symbol. Let me just show you a decorator somewhere here. You're going to see a lot of LangChain codes with this. Where are those decorators? Yeah, they're here. So normally you're going to see this kind of symbol. I hope you can see this art symbol in most of more advanced programs. So they are basically called decorators. So you're going to see why they are very useful and why we need to discuss them in this level. So we are also going to do Pydantic, whereby now we can do data validation. So remember I was talking about exception handling. So now you can validate data and so on and so forth. And then finally, we're also going to talk about generators, whereby now with generators, we're just going to understand how to use the yield statement within the Python. So the question is, why should we advance Python for AI engineers? It matters because in this module, we are going to cover very fundamental AI frameworks like LangChain. Anyone who has heard about LangChain? LangChain. So there's this framework called LangChain that we're going to cover here. I think you can even research about it. LangChain, yes. So we are going to do LangChain in detail. And we're going to see how LangChain, it's actually enabling us as AI engineers to build AI products. Okay. So LangChain is very, very handy and it is widely used for building AI products. I think I was discussing with one of the students, and he was talking about frameworks like N and N8N. Yeah, I don't know why it has a very unique name. This framework. So this framework is actually an AI workflow automation. So they are trying to automate how AI products are developed. So this is actually let me show, this is basically a graphical user interface representation of LangChain. So for us to understand frameworks like this one here that are very, very popular, we need first to understand the fundamentals of LangChain. And now for us to understand this LangChain in terms of programming, that's why we are now advancing on our Python skills. So we are going to see that LangChains are built on OOP concept. Okay. So therefore, at some point we'll need to do what we call strict typing. So that now we prevent our large language models from crashing with bad information. Okay. So that is the main reason why starting from Monday, we are now going to advance on Python. It's not that very complicated. So long as now you've understood the fundamental parts of Python, then these are very, very simple to understand. Okay. Now from there, we are going to have a very, very interesting module 2, which is actually prompt engineering. So one thing we have to agree is that artificial intelligence is already here. people are already using AI. Different companies are trying as much as possible to integrate artificial intelligence into their operation. Okay. So because a lot of people are using these AI products, we need people to actually write proper inputs so that now they get proper output. And that is basically what we're going to discuss in detail about prompt engineering. These are very important component for every AI engineer out there. So we're going to talk about how to do prompts like chain of thought, how to do few shot techniques. Okay, we are going to see that as you are building your prompt, you can even define a persona. Like you ask a model, act like a financial assistant, or maybe act like a legal expert, act like what can I say, like an expert software engineer. So we are giving this model personalities. Okay, very very important. And also we'll be discussing guardrails. Guardrails are very important, especially when we are trying to enhance AI security. So we can actually guard the responses that these AI are generating to the users. So we can limit AI to generating personal information, or maybe avoiding selling people's contact and so on and so forth. So we are going to talk about guardrails and how we can actually put them into our AI system. So that is a very important aspect we are going to do in prompt engineering. How to do JSON. So remember, this AI can be integrated into our system. Maybe we can integrate AI into the KRA system, or we can integrate AI into the SHA system. So for this integration to happen, we need the AI to generate a structured output. If you're talking about a structured output, it is an output that can be used into another system. I hope you're getting. Let's say I want to use ChatGPT on our eCitizen platform. So remember, these are two different systems, and therefore they have to communicate on a structured output that normally we call JSON. And then finally, on prompt engineering, we are going to discuss how to manage the token. Remember, some large language models like OpenAI, they are paid. So we need AI engineers that can advise people on how people can manage their token efficiently to actually limit the cost implications that are enforced with these AI products. So prompt engineering matters. I would really want you to research more about it. It matters because as AI engineers, we need outputs that are deterministic. Okay. Therefore, with prompt engineering, we are going to transform this large language model from chat application into reliable products that can actually return clean JSON data that can be used by other systems. Okay. So I'm trying to avoid this hands-on lab because there will be so many of them. This is just a sample, but we're going to do a lot of them. Then from prompt engineering, a very important aspect. With this one, we're going to limit a lot of code. Now we're going to see how artificial intelligence can be used for business intelligence. So remember, a lot of people are having businesses. And like I had said earlier, a lot of businesses are trying to see how they can integrate AI into their operation. Okay? So we're going to see how we can help businesses use AI to maximize their profits. Okay? It doesn't matter the kind of business you're having. We can integrate AI into a financial setup and so on and so forth. So importantly, we are going to see how different platforms, like I was opening this platform, so maybe you can also research on them. There's this platform you're going to look. It's called Outerbase. It's called Outerbase. So remember, if you're doing business intelligence, It's either you are doing, you are interacting with Excel data, you are interacting with databases like SQL data. So there are already AI products that have been built to help businesses do those kind of business intelligence operations. So if you're using SQL, these are very popular ones, very, very popular one used by eBay, Google, and other platforms. And we can actually see how artificial intelligence can understand your database. So to make it even clear, a lot of businesses have their data stored into databases. I hope that now is okay. A lot of businesses have their data stored into databases. So we can actually integrate AI products without even writing a code. A good product is this one called Outerbase that can actually go and understand these databases so that now it gives insights, just like data analysts. So this can be done in terms of SQL. Another good example is Infogram, very, very popular. This is actually an AI application that is meant to draw visualization. So it can take your data and now draw for you visualization. So a good example of a popular product for the same is tools like Power BI. So if you have ever interacted with tools like Power BI, now we have AI products that are simulating Power BI, where we can now draw very interactive dashboard. A good example of that one is Infogram. I would share this link after the lesson. I think there's also another one called Arkio. This is also built for business intelligence operation. This is another one called Polymer Search and so on and so forth. So basically, in our third module here, which will be very, very key, we are going to see how artificial intelligence can be now integrated into the normal businesses. Okay. So why does it matter for an AI engineer to do this operation? This one matters because it will actually bridge the gap between raw data. So remember, businesses already have data stored either in databases, stored in Excel format, and decision making. So we can actually use AI to transform raw data into actionable insights. So this is actually very highly applicable for building internal company tools, okay? Which a lot of companies are really looking for people who can actually use AI to transform their data into decisions, okay? From there now, we are going to go into now development. We are going to see how to build AI products, production-ready AI products. A good example, we are going to build something we call retrieval augmented generation. Okay, RAG. RAG is a very common word in AI. And basically, just to make it simple, a RAG, it is actually an AI that can go through your document and summarize it to give you the responses. So why does it matter? RAG matters because large language models they're already there. A lot of them are already in the market, but they don't know your private data. Let's say you're working in a company or you're working in an hospital, you have your own private data. So you can actually expose this private data into an AI. And now with RAG, it will allow you to build chatbot that knows your specific company documents without training a new model. So inside your company, you can build an AI that understands your policies, your mission, your objective, the number of employees you have. So now people can now start using those kind of products into their day-to-day operation. Okay. And then now, this is actually now the latest AI we have. I'm sure you've heard about AI agents and AI workflow. So right now, most are using chatbot. Let me just say chatbot. Like this is actually a chatbot. If I'm using ChatGPT, it's just a chatbot. I'm asking it a question, it is giving me a response. But now, if you are building an agent, it can actively perform tasks rather than giving you responses. For example, an agent can search something on the website, an agent can send emails, an agent can go through your Excel documents and so on and so forth. So you can even build presentations and so on and so forth. So with agents are autonomous. So they think and act on their own based on your instructions. For example, if you build for a company something like a travel assistant, let me say travel agent, it can plan a trip, search for information, and calculate budget for a client. So this is actually now the era that people are moving into. So we're moving into building autonomous AI products. Apart from agents that we are going to build using LangChain, we are also going to discuss AI workflows. So remember, workflows are the tools that are already there. They are no code platform. You don't need to write a code, but you can build an AI product using these workflow tools. One of the most popular workflows is this one here, N88 and 8N. Yeah, this one here is very, very popular. You just need to drag and drop to show the AI what it needs to do. Okay, so it's very popular. There's another one. I was even researching more about it called Flowise. I think Flowise. This one here. So there's also another AI workflow. So remember, this is actually now the beauty of AI in such a way that we can use AI to automate repetitive tasks within organizations. Tasks like data entry, tasks like assistance, okay? For example, sending emails. So these are tasks that now AI can do, so long as now you build a proper workflow. So that is basically the outline for now. But I think we are going to be accommodating more products as we now progress. So any question up to there? I think I moved very fast. Any question, any concern, or maybe any expectation that you might have for this session? Any? Yeah, so I'm glad a majority of the students we had on beginner series are here. So most of them we are very familiar. I think I can see Newton is already there. Shadrach, I think he's back. Solomon. So most of you, I think we have interacted. And I think this will be a very interactive session. And I'm hoping that by the end of this intermediate series, you'll be now focusing on building production systems. Okay. Yeah. So at least you're able to build a product that people can use in terms of AI. So anything I've not addressed or any concern? I don't know what anyone who had a different concern. Uh, Alex, are you there? Yes. So basically, that is the outline. That is the outline that we have. So starting from Monday, we are going to proceed with advanced Python. I'm hoping that you're going to join. It will be very, very interesting session to see how you can now advance your skills on Python. I even shared with you a notebook of the same. This is just a sample area where Python has been advanced. So like I was talking about data structures. Even though I didn't do data structures in detail, but we are going to see how data structure is very important in advanced Python, okay? From there, we are going to talk about, so we'll be actually giving a topic, giving a simple example like this one, a more difficult one, a more realistic one, and then how this can be used within an AI setup. Very, very important. For example, if you're talking about data structures, it is very, very much used in natural language processing, okay? In such a way that if you're having a very good data structure, you have systems that are very fast to process information. So that is one area we're going to talk about. On Monday, we go to object-oriented programming. I love how object-oriented programming structures the code. And it's very, very simple, whereby we'll be talking about classes and objects, inheritance. And we're going to see, this is actually a very simple example of OOP. A realistic example is maybe you're building a bank account. And then in terms of AI, you're going to see that in LangChain, okay? If you want to build now, the agents that you're talking about, decorators, we also have generators, very, very beautiful. And then finally, we have Pydantic, where we're going to do data validation. So this will be very, very important concept that we're going to do from Monday. But now allow me tomorrow, we have a recap on AI engineering beginner series concept. So we're going to recap on Python, and then we're going to do a recap on machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, and now generative AI. So just having a quick recap, Q&A session, maybe you had a question, maybe this is a product you are trying to build. So that is actually basically what we're going to discuss tomorrow. And then now we have a plan on how we're going to start on Monday with now this, according to the outline that I've stated here. Anyone with a question or a concern? Anyone with a, yes, I think, Edwin, yes, you have a very, very important question. You're asking, is fine-tuning part of AI intermediate series? It should be. Yes, it should be. And I think for fine-tuning, we'll actually place it here. I think we're going to work with it here, fine-tuning, okay? Because basically, if you're doing fine-tuning, you're trying to make an already existing AI more intelligent without training a new one. So you can either work with RAG, and I think we're going to cover some concept of fine-tuning. The reason why I didn't place it here, it's because fine-tuning is a little bit expensive, okay? So for you to fine-tune and a large language model, you need resources like GPUs. Sometimes you need a lot of time, but we're going to discuss it, how you can fine-tune an already existing large language model. So that is a very wonderful question, fine-tuning. It is true, we can say that we have a lot of AI, we have a lot of large language models. If you go to platform like Hugging Face, yeah. So if you have a platform like Hugging Face, we have a lot of large language models. So their models are here. And you see, these are the models. There are so many models here. I hope you can see being released every day. Like this one was released 7 days ago, 11 hours ago. So AI models are being released every day. But now we need one that is specific to our needs. Okay, maybe we want a model that understands Swahili, or we want a model that understands our constitution. So for us to do that one, we can actually make it specialized in two ways. One is what I'm talking about here, which most companies are doing, RAG. So with RAG, you can take a model from Hugging Face and then you now expose it to information so that now it understands more information. Alternatively, now you can also do fine tuning, whereby now you're adding more information to an already existing model. So because of that concern, I think, I hope I've answered you, Edwin. I'm going to add fine tuning as part of module 4. I hope I've answered you, Edwin. Anyone else with a question? Anyone else with a question? So we are going to add fine tuning as part of module 4. Very, very important. So anyone else or anyone with a concern? Anyone with a concern? So these are models that are being built every day. So the issue is, can we pick a model and now specialize it, either using RAG or fine tuning? Let me pick someone. Who else can I pick? Fatuma, you have a concern or a question? You have a concern or a question? A concern or a question? Okay, so I hope you're now okay. I hope you're ready. I hope you understand what you're going to cover. Those are the major expectations that you should have. In case there's any that I've left out, you can always let me know. And definitely, we are going to incorporate it into the outline. So after intermediate series, we are going to have an advanced series, which will be very, very simple. You've now understood different AI models, you understand RAG. Now, can you have it in an application? Okay. So that is really what we're going to do in our advanced module. So something else I needed to communicate was physical classes. I think this was an issue with some of the students. Yeah, so we are planning to have physical classes starting from week 2. Okay. So after we've completed our Python, yes, I think Python we can do it virtually. Python we can do it virtually. Yes, this one we can do it virtually. After now we have completed our advanced Python modules, I would love if those who are available, it's not mandatory, but if you are available during the day, we could be having uh, physical classes in Nairobi, CBD. So we're going to organize that one accordingly, then we communicate. So for this series, I'm really encouraging that at least we have also physical classes. For those who will not be able to have, it's okay. We still also be having virtual ones. But if you're able to have time for physical session, I think we'll be having them starting from prompt engineering module 2. Okay. So I wanted to communicate that one. You already have a space, so it's just a matter of time so that it's completed, and then now we have our session there. So anyone else with a concern? I think deployment. Yes, Edwin, you also talking about, yes, we have a model. Yes, we are going to do deployment. Yes, we are going to do deployment. I think those deployment will be doing them either in cloud. So you can deploy an AI in cloud. I think there are tools like Kubernetes clusters. Yes, so we're going to do deployment. We'll be discussing them. because some platforms are premium based. So basically, we can just showcase how to deploy an AI model. So basically, we're going to do deployments. I think I should add those two modules. I should add, yes, I should add fine tuning, and then also we should add deployment. Very important. Thank you for that one. So I'm going to add those two, fine tuning and deployment. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Edwin, for that. Concern. Yes. So without any concern, any other concern, I think I'll stop there for today. Let's meet tomorrow for those who want recaps. At least we have maybe you missed some sessions on beginner series. I'll try as much as possible tomorrow. We cover a very important aspect that we mentioned on beginner series. So that now from Monday, we are now ready to transition into intermediate series. So in the meantime, you can be actually researching on this one. Maybe you can even be asking these AI tools, maybe trying to understand it from your own language, decorators, and then now from Monday next week, we just discuss these advanced topics as we now proceed to other areas. So I think with that one, I'll stop there for today, unless there is a concern. I'll stop there for today. Let's meet tomorrow exactly from 7:15 to 9. We now have a recap on the beginner series topic. That is Python, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and generative AI. So with that one, have a good night and bye-bye.